Howdy! Welcome to Aspire Mountain Academy. I'm Professor Curtis, your instructor for this course in Introductory Statistics. In less than 10 minutes, this video provides additional practice for conducting hypothesis testing on proportions. Let's get started. So here we're, I'm going to love this. We're looking at M&Ms. So in a random sample of 100 M&Ms candies, 8% are brown. And whoever's counting this to get that 8% figure has got to have some self-control, because I don't know if I can hold myself back. I mean, okay, 8% of 100 is like 8. So you're sifting through and you're finding the 8. So yeah, okay, I guess it's not that much self-control. Maybe one of the other more popular colors might need some more self-control, but not for this one. So here we're asked 5 standard questions that we get with these types of proportion hypothesis testing problems. What are our hypotheses? What's the test statistic? What's the p-value? 5% significance level, and then conclude the hypothesis test. So here we can see from our problem statement, we're looking at a claim that the percentage of brown M&Ms equals 13%. So let's answer these questions one at a time. First up, the hypotheses. So to get the null and alternative hypotheses, the first thing we want to do is think about the claim that's being made. Here the claim that's being made is that the percentage of brown M&Ms is exactly 13%. So proportion equals 0.13. Then the null hypothesis, as always, by definition, a statement of equality. So all the equality goes with the null hypothesis. But this was the actual claim that was being made. And so therefore we can't use the claim for our alternative hypothesis. We have to take the complement of the claim. And typically we would just take the claim, but we can't do that here because all equality belongs with the null hypothesis. So we have to take the complement of the claim to form our alternative hypothesis. This means that we're not matching the claim with our alternative hypothesis. We've got a disconnect there, but that's okay. We look to the alternative hypothesis for determining what type of test we have, and we have a two-tailed test. So moving on to the next question, what is the test statistic? Well, the test statistic, we can get that, we're going to StatCrunch. So go into Stat, Proportion Stats, one sample, because we've got just the one sample, with summary, because we don't have data, just summary stats. So here in our options window, notice we've got 8% that we actually found were brown. So that's the 8 out of 100 that we're putting here up top. And then these fields here for hypothesis test are matching the null and alternative hypothesis that we just determined a moment ago. So we put that in, press compute. Now comes our results window, which you see here. And the table in that window, the second to last value in that table is always a test statistic. So here we've got a test statistic of negative 1.4867526. The p-value is right next door to the test statistic, always the last value listed there in that table. Fourth thing we're asked to do was to decide on the hypothesis test. So we're going to reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. Well, to do that, we can compare the p-value to see if it's inside or outside our rejection region. And here's our critical values right here. So alpha is 5%. We compare that with the p-value that we got from the results window earlier. So the p-value there on the end. And we see that we're greater than 5%. Therefore, we can't fit the area for the p-value inside the area for the rejection region. And therefore, we're outside the rejection region, and we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So the last question that we're looking at, what do we conclude from the hypothesis test? Well, what did we just get done doing? We just looked at it. We said we failed to reject the null hypothesis, so there's not sufficient evidence. We have a two-tailed test, so that means we warrant rejection of the claim, and our answer for this question is going to be answer option A. Again, if you're not clear about where the different parts of this come from, go back and look at that mini lecture that we had on the pattern for determining these conclusions that we're sharing, because that's the pattern we're going to use to get to the right answer every single time. And that brings us to the end of this mini lecture. I hope you found it helpful. You can find more mini lectures for this and other courses at AspireMountainAcademy.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.